back to the main story. After Minos told the story of the Minotaur, and he was the hero who locked up this monstrosity of a beast, and he was trying to threaten them. He was trying to threaten Theseus, who had all this swagger and confidence. This young man who was about 17 at this point, 17, 18. This young man who walked in and threatened to kill his Minotaur, his stepson. And he hated Theseus. Want to know who liked Theseus? Minos' daughter.
Oh.
Ariadne. She liked his confidence, his personality.
Now, she didn't look like a bull.
No, she didn't look like a bull.
That's good. So
she
they
was
knew
the
it
daughter
was
of Pasiphae and Ariadne.
That's good.
Not Ariadne. Daughter of Pasiphae and Minos. So she liked him. She was like, this is funny. And he joked around with the Minotaur story like you did.
Okay.
Kind of like that. And he was like, that's sad. He was like, wow, that's pretty rude, dude.
Yeah.
So Ariadne liked this boy. She was like, wow, I like him. She was like, Dad, this guy's cool. and he was like, shut up, sweetie. He was not a good person.
No, he wasn't.
And he was contemplating. He's a good manipulator. He likes using people's strengths as weaknesses, and every hero has their fatal flaw. Theseus's was pride, or hubris, or whatever, thinking he can do everything.
Yeah.
Thinking he's the best at everything, because that's been his life.
Right.
He is the best at everything. And so he picks up on this because of his boasting and stuff, and he thinks, if I challenge this boy to something, he's gonna go for it. Because he knows that this boy will do anything to be a hero. So he thinks, what is something I could do? And he grabs off this ring that is probably, like, really expensive nowadays, but he's a king, so he has tax money, and he has, like, a million of these in his side, drawer or whatever, in his bedroom. And he's like, Theseus, my boy, I don't think you could kill the Minotaur. And Theseus is like, what do you mean? Of course I could kill the Minotaur. And he's like, I don't think you can. I think that you should, what would be something good? And he takes his ring and goes, I know, if you can get this ring, I'll believe you that you can beat the Minotaur. And Theseus is like, okay. And he thinks that he's going to do something, and Theseus is going to try to grab it, get it, and everyone's going to be like, oh, wow, Theseus, so good. And he's going to, swoon all the ladies and stuff.
Right.
Because he's a teenage boy. What else is he going to do?
Right.
And Minos just flicks it out of a window. And they're on, like, the 5th story. Mm-hmm. And there's what's outside of the 5th story on that side of the castle? Well, the sea full of jagged rocks. And know what happens when you fall from a high up and a high amount of pressure hits?
That happens. Squish. Yeah.
Squish. Feels like cement. As well as there being jagged rocks in the sea. And what does Theseus do? Well, he sees shiny and goes for it.
Out the window.
He jumps out the window. And everyone's like, well, he's dead. But Theseus survives by some miraculous thing, either being blessed by the god Poseidon, because Poseidon was mad about him, or being the son of Poseidon, where the sea couldn't harm him. That's another point to Poseidon. And Geus is like 0, other than maybe like looking like it. And Theseus makes it, and he's like, and he runs up all these stairs to the 5th floor. He's like, I got it. Minos was like...
So he's a little winded.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
A little winded.
Little winded.
And Minos is like, great. Now I gotta pretend like I actually like this kid and impressed by his skills. And he's like, well done, my boy. Maybe you can beat the Minotaur. And Ariadne knows her dad's faking it.
Mm-hmm.
No one has beaten the Minotaur in the 20 years that they've had the Minotaur be alive in the labyrinth. And she knows this, and she's like, I don't want this boy that I have a crush on to die.
Mm-hmm.
He's cool. I like him. Why does Dad have to ruin everything for me?
He's a dad.
Yeah.
And a king.
Why does my dad have to kill all my boyfriends?
Oh, yeah.
Possible boyfriends. So overprotective. And she's like, what can I do? And she had the bright idea of going to the guy who built the labyrinth, who was locked in a dungeon for helping Pasiphae make a bull costume.
Oh, so...
He was locked in a dungeon.
Okay.
He was still had to make things and stuff. And she went down there and was like, Daedalus, you need to help me. My dad's trying to kill my possible boyfriend. What can I do? Well, Daedalus knew some secrets about the labyrinth. You always have to stick to the left, and that takes you straight to the center. He also was the only one who remembered the Minotaur's real name. Agrias. And he thought, well, maybe that will be his weakness. Maybe he hasn't heard Agrias in so long, he'll be caught off guard. It may help. And you won't be able to use any weapons in the labyrinth, so, well, don't. Possibly find jagged bones, anything that you could possibly use to hurt him.
There should be quite a few of those around.
Yeah, there should be something that you can use. And also, the Minotaur is like a bull and doesn't take well to sharp turns. So, move to the side. Like, get his attention, make him run towards charge, and step to the side. And maybe you can find a weak spot and stab him somewhere.
Yeah. Did he give them or her the bull costume too? Just as a, no?
No.
That wasn't part of the deal?
No,
okay.
I think they have like that burned or something.
Oh,
I think they burned that or something. Probably it was
okay.
gross.
Yeah, I suppose.
Oh,
yeah. Ooh,
it's probably gross.
I didn't take that into consideration.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. So.
But one thing he did give Ariadne was a ball of twine. Or string.
Oh.
Ariadne's string. And it was just normal string that he had in his workshop dungeon area. He's like, use this so he can get back. And hold this at the entrance. Tie it somewhere. Have someone hold it to make sure he can come back once he slays the Minotaur.
Yeah.
She's like, thank you, Daedalus. Love you. See you later. And Ariadne's like goes up to Theseus' chambers, because they're going to be sacrificed the next day. It's like, I have information and this ball of string to help you. But you need to promise me to get me out of this hellhole once. Like, get me out of here and marry me so my dad can't get me back, so I can leave. I want to leave this place.
Right.
I don't want to be in Crete anymore.
We get the idea.
Yeah. And Theseus like, deal. So they have the deal, and she tells him the information and gives him the ball of twine. And the next day comes, and Theseus is being like signing foreheads again, and people are kind of starting to root for him. They like the underdog.
Yeah.
This is like one of the first underdog stories.
Right.
And they're like, Theseus, Theseus, Theseus. And people are rooting for him, and Minos is like, no, stop. And they stop because they could get killed.
He's the king, yeah.
Yeah. So they stop and they stop cheering, and Theseus is still like, hey, and taking photos and signing people's...
Taking photos, huh?
Yeah, taking photos. Paintings.
Oh,
photos.
all right.
Old photos.
Old photos, the painting.
They took paintings, and they were having...
Stone chiseling.
Making statues, things like that. And he had to... And they were locked into the labyrinth. Ariadne was outside of the labyrinth waiting for... they had like a secret knock of like 3 knocks. Means that she should let them leave, because she knew that her father, if he actually did kill the Minotaur, he wouldn't let him out. He would let them starve.
Right.
And Theseus was smart, as I said before, with the police system, with the boulder. And he made a deal with Minos that if he killed the Minotaur, they wouldn't have to send any more sacrifices to Crete, and Athens wouldn't be indebted to, like, Crete anymore.
Okay, this is a good deal.
Yeah. So, and Minos was like, sure.
Because he didn't think he'd be able to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if he did kill the Minotaur, the last thing he would do would let the children come out.
Right.
And all that, and they were in the labyrinth. It was dark. They had 2 torches illuminating the little entranceway that they had. And he tied one end of the string to one of the torches, and he went to the left. He kept to the left, holding onto the wall and holding onto a string tightly. And he made it to the center. And he looked around for the Minotaur, and he was like, Minotaur? Agrius? And the Minotaur saw him. Didn't see him. More like, smelt him. There was feces on the ground, and pee, and bones, and blood. Dried blood. Not so dry blood. It was dark. You couldn't see. It was slippery. There were bones everywhere. And he was holding onto the string. And he saw the bull's glowing eyes. The bull charged at him, and he swerved to the right, dropping the string as he stumbled down to the ground, covered in grossness.
Okay, you don't
I'm
need
not going to describe it.
Yeah, you don't need to do that.
Let's not describe it. But and they continued to tussle, with him swerving left and right and making the Minotaur. And then the Minotaur started to charge at him again, and he was blocked into a corner. And he said, Agrius! And the Minotaur stopped, having not heard his name for years at that point. Almost forgetting who he was. That gave Theseus enough time to slide underneath his legs and go to the center of the room. The Minotaur, ran towards him again, and he swerved, grabbed his horn, ripped it off his horn, and stabbed him in the side.
Oh.
And Theseus stood over him. The Minotaur was dying. He found the string and went back. They started having parties, and he married Ariadne. They were sailing back. They had to stop at an island, and